Ever wondered how to cancel that old contract and get with a new buyer? Well, here I am to tell you all about it. I'm Ben Weaver, Illinois attorney, and I'm here to talk to you about buying and selling a house and wills, trusts, and other estate planning documents. And today, we're talking about page 12 of the Illinois Residential Multi-Board Contract 8.0. Now, this is the 12th video in the series. We're going through each page of the contract, page by page. So this page 12, look up for the first 11, pages number 13 and pages 14 coming out soon. Page 12 starts with a continuation of paragraph 32. Paragraph 32 is a cancellation of a previous real estate contract. It's an optional paragraph, so it only applies if both the buyer and the seller initial the paragraph, and it provides details. So if the seller has already entered into a contract to sell the house to someone else, how that first contract to be canceled, or if the buyer has entered into a contract to buy a different house, it goes with the details of how that contract will be canceled too. So hopefully it provides a framework to cancel the initial contract so that the current buyer and seller can move forward with their contract. Paragraph 33, another optional paragraph, is a home warranty policy. So if the seller agrees to purchase a home warranty for the buyer, the parties initial this contract and they fill in the details about the value of that home warranty. Paragraph 34, alternative energy. This is a new one for the 8.0 contract. So if the seller has solar panels or other sort of alternative energy resources on the house, this is the paragraph the parties will fill out to provide the details. Are those solar panels leased? Are they owned? Etc., so that going forward there are no surprises about those alternative energy resources. Paragraph 35, possession after closing, is an important one. If the parties agree that the seller is allowed to remain in the house after closing, this is the paragraph where we fill in those terms. For example, is there a daily per diem that the seller will pay to the buyer? Usually, it's an amount equal to the buyer's mortgage payment or their principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, PITI. Or if someone really needs to come up with a situation, sometimes if the seller is really desperate, they'll agree to an amount more than that. Sometimes if the buyer is really desperate, they'll agree to an amount less than that. But it's where they fill in those details. They also fill out what exactly the post-closing possession escrow will be. That's, sum it up in as short as possible. Basically, it's a security deposit to make sure that the seller moves out on time and there is no damage to the property. Usually that escrow is 2% of the purchase price, but the parties have a right to negotiate a different amount. This paragraph also talks about the length of that post-possession time period. Now, it's important to remember that if the buyer is getting a loan, when they're signing out the mortgage paperwork, they agree that they will be living in the house within 60 days after closing. So they have to be ready to put in this contract, if the lender is going to review it, that the post-possession will end within 60 days of closing. Just something to keep in mind when you're filling out the paperwork. All right, and the last paragraph on page 12, paragraph 36, specific party approval, is an optional paragraph that the parties want to enter into. Say, for example, if the buyer is getting a cash gift to buy the house, maybe a relative who's giving that gift has to approve the contract before they can move forward, or maybe there's a relocation or something. Basically, if another party outside the buyer and the seller's sphere has to approve the contract, the parties will initial this one and it applies to the contract. Well, that's page 12 in a nutshell. I'm Ben Weaver, Illinois attorney, and I hope you're enjoying this series. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and look out for every page in the 8.0 contract. I'll see you in the next video.